Welcome to Telly Talk, where we talk about what's on the telly, and by that, we mean we talk about what's on our mind, because we're a telly. I'm Tyler, and I love dragons so much that I got a tattoo of one.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you, that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
That was my 19th birthday.
Welcome back.
Who are
We're
you?
trying.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm. You know what? That's not important. So this month we're trying to get back on schedule, and we decided to watch some of our favorite childhood movies from when we were kids. Hence, childhood movies. And so, one of my favorite childhood movies when I was a kid was Pete's Dragon, and it came out in 1977. Not the 2016 remake. That one's a piece of shit. The original one from 1977. It's my nanny from when I was a kid showed it to me. It's one of the various movies she showed to me, and I fucking loved it. And I don't know why. It just makes me so happy. And it's a Disney movie starring this little boy, and he's an orphan, and he's running away from this abusive family that adopted him, or more likely bought him for essentially slave labor on their farm. And so he's running away, and he has this like imaginary, not imaginary, it's kind of
He's not
imaginary. He has this,
imaginary, he's very real.
he's very real because other people can see him, but he's this like mythical creature. He's a
We
giant
know he's real
dragon.
from the get-go because we see him, like, doing things even though he's invisible.
Yes. And fun fact actually, they were gonna make the movie without him being visible at all. They originally made him like the whole movie without him being visible, and then people watched it and people were like, I don't like it. I want to see the dragon. And so they're like, oh, we got to make the fucking dragon. And so they went back and animated the dragon in. And I love movies that are live action but have like an animated character, like a 2D character in it. I love like Space Jam and that one movie with that really hot woman. Um,
It reminded me of, have you seen the old
the one
Velveteen
with
Rabbit
Brad
movie?
Pitt.
Like, the original Velveteen Rabbit movie?
No.
It's like live action, but like there's an also an animated world. It's like the Smurf movie maybe is a good comparison.
Oh. I liked like in this movie when the dragon Elliot he would when he would interact with items in the real world, like when he was eating the apples, when he would hold them and put them in his mouth, they would turn animated. And then when he like gave them to Elliot, they'd be real. They'd be like the real item. And I thought that was really cool.
That was also
But
cool. I liked when he was under the net while invisible and you could see like the outline of him. That was like when he was
yes.
scariest. That was really
Yes.
cool.
And he was huge.
He was
And
huge. He's not as huge when
yes.
he's animated, but they're like he's
No.
50 feet tall and he's huge under that net.
Yeah. And I also, whenever they put him next to Elliot, Elliot would be like looking up for like the eye line. It was never like fully correctly aligned, but I still loved it. I loved it so much, and I honestly wonder how they shot that because I mean this came out in 1977. Green screens were just being a new thing, but I doubt they like placed anything to be like an eye marker. I think they just told the kid to just look up and just be like, yeah, he's up. He's really tall. Like he's really tall.
He's
Um,
up there somewhere.
back to the plot. So Pete is the orphan. He's running away with his dragon Elliot. Elliot is this like cartoon dragon. He can turn invisible and he can do like he can breathe fire. He can I mean, he's just a dragon. Like he's just a cool ass dragon who can turn invisible, and he's cute and he's funny, and I
He's like a
love
dog. He's
yes,
he's like a dog.
and I love the way he speaks, and his little grumbles are so fucking cute, and I love him so much. He's also ginger, love him for that. Um, he can fly. He
Love
has little
gingers.
tiny, he's like little tiny baby pink wings, and he's so cute, and he has magic powers where he can like find people. He his main purpose is helping kids in need. That's kind of like his whole vibe. Because spoiler at the end of the movie, uh, Elliot tells Pete that he has to leave and that he's never gonna come back to Pete. And he's like, I have to go help other children that need me. And
Can
Pete's
I?
like, I'm never gonna see you again. And he's like, no, I'm sorry, which is so
Can,
sad. It's so sad.
it is really fucking sad. I really want like a backstory to how they found each other. I think that'd be fun to watch.
I
Um,
think it was.
I
I think it's kind of like it's kind of just like an imaginary friend where you kind of just like summon a person to talk to, and then he became real in a sense. And then his purpose was just like helping sad children. You know.
yeah.
Um.
I I wanted to add that even though I was obsessed with dragons when I was like 8, no one ever showed me this movie, and I was like shocked that no one ever showed me this, but then I remembered that until very recently, you could not find old Disney movies like anywhere because they would just like lock them in a vault and not make DVDs of them, and like streaming didn't exist. So it's really not my fault that I didn't watch this, or
I had a
anyone's fault.
DVD of this movie.
Well, yeah, you could get DVDs sometimes, but like they wouldn't consistently make DVDs of Disney movies. Like they'd make them for a while and then they'd like not make them anymore. Like they'd like go through cycles, and it was hard to get old Disney movies, basically.
You could probably get them from like a Blockbuster.
Probably.
I feel like that's where I got my
But
movies from.
I was like 12 when the 2016 one came out, so I did like that one because I was like the target
See,
audience as a
that
12-year-old who
one
liked dragons. And like I
I
didn't grow up with
didn't
the
like.
original, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. So as a 12-year-old who liked dragons, it was great for me.
The dragon is definitely cool. Like I would say, like the dragon in the 2016 one is epic, but the plot, it's I from what I remember it being, he's kind of just like, oh, he gets lost in the woods and he's this Tarzan kid, and he is friends with a dragon, and then like a woman finds him and tries to adopt him or whatever, and
I
then he's
remember
like, no,
there was a
my
part where he was like
dragon.
in the hospital, and it was like a big deal that he was in the hospital because they were like, "You're an orphan. Like, what? Who are you here with?" And he like ran away from the hospital.
Yeah, it is kind of just like, oh, little lost boy. His parents died from a car crash, and then he was just lived in the woods and had this pet dragon, and then yeah, like it's not the same magical vibe, you know. It's more
Yeah, it wasn't as
real,
magical. They went for a much more realistic story. It
which
wasn't supposed to be like as magical. Very
I
different.
wanna I wanna talk about the 2016 version later because I feel like we have some things to talk about with it, especially with who directed it. But let's go back to the plot because I
Oh
have yet to
God, he
explain the
directed it.
entire plot. Um,
Oh,
so Pete runs away from his abusive family and ends up at this like seaside town in Maine. This takes place in Maine. Um, yeah, and the town's called Passamaquoddy, which I looked up, and it originally, not the town itself, but the Passamaquoddy is a Native American tribe up in like Maine, which I think is kind of cool. And so he goes to Passamaquoddy, and all the people go there, and he's with Elliot, and Elliot is invisible. Pete made him invisible because he's like, you're gonna scare everyone because you're a dragon. And so Elliot's invisible, and as he's walking through town, Elliot kind of makes a mess of things, and
he causes.
because he's
He's a very
invisible,
mischievous dragon.
yeah, he kind of does things like on his own. Like Elliot,
I
like
thought
Pete
the
doesn't
school
control
teacher was going to
him.
be much more important to the plot than she was.
No, I hate her. I
I
hate
I
her.
thought she was going to have like an arc or something. Like there was going to be like
No,
more.
she's just a bitch.
Yeah.
Um,
The beginning of this
and
movie was really slow. I was like, "What's the plot?" Like the plot became clear. It was a long movie. I was surprised because usually older animated movies like this are like more like 80 minutes, but this was like 120 minutes. But like
it was
the
actually longer, and then they had to cut it down because people were like, "This is too long."
it was it was great. They just had the introduction was slow, and if this was made today, I think it would have been a show because there were so many like plot chunks that happened. Like there was like it was like almost
Originally,
episodic with like the different arcs that happened throughout it. And this, I feel like this would have been a show if it was made today.
okay, so this movie was based off a short story that this guy wrote, and Disney bought it and was gonna make it into like a 2 episode show, and like to have like two like 30-40 minute episodes. And then they eventually, it was back in like the 50s, and then they decided to put it away, and then they made it into a movie in the 70s. And everyone everyone kind of loved it. And when it originally came out, they're like, ah, it's kind of long. And when they were testing for it, um, they didn't animate the dragon in, and so they're like, put the dragon in. And so they came up with a concept for the dragon, and then made it a little shorter, cut it down
He
a
was
bit.
he was cute. I liked him.
He's so cute. And then they re-released it in like the 80s, like 10 years later or something, and it did really well. And people said it was like one
It
of
was
the
it
most
was ahead
enjoyable
of
and
its time.
energetic movies at its time, like the Disney movie at its time. Um, because like what was coming out at that time in the 70s and 80s with Disney? I don't even know.
I can Google it. Robin Hood, Aristocrats, Pete's
Those are good
Dragon is
movies, but I feel
yeah
like they're less.
energetic.
They're like less kiddie, you know. Where this is like the main character's a kid, where the other ones is like political commentary, and the other one's like another political commentary.
The Fox and the Hound.
Oh, that one was pretty good, but not as energetic. That was pretty sad.
Yeah, Aristocats is pretty energetic. They got that's kind of upbeat.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, the Black Cauldron, The Great
Black
Mouse
Cauldron.
Detective, The Rescuers. I wanted to say that I was surprised you like this movie so much because you usually dislike musicals.
I know, and I don't know what it is about it, but the songs in this movie slap hard. They're so good. They're literally
Oh,
so
The
good.
Little Mermaid.
Oh,
They
really?
we're watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang this month, right?
I think so.
The songs reminded me of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Like it was like it had that old musical movie for kids style to it that's different than modern musical movies for kids and old musical movies for adults. It's like it's its own genre, and it so like the style kind of reminds me of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Um, especially the character who is like the bad guy. There's a like a similar character in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang who like hunts children, and he like pretends to be like a guy selling candy to like lure children out to like take them away, which is like darker than this movie. No, this movie had they were trying to impale the dragon. So you know it's the same vibe. They're hunting children, and like he has a little like song or something, and they look similar. It was, I got similar vibes. I think you might like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Well, what you've shown me of it, I thought it was really weird.
It's a weird movie. I described it to people, and they thought I was making it up. It's like a dream. Like the plot's like a dream, but it is magical, and it blends an adult plot and a kid plot really well. It's we're not talking about it yet. I'm excited to watch it though. I grew up watching that movie. When did it come out?
I don't know, maybe the 60s?
1968.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Dick Van Dyke.
Okay.
Who doesn't like Dick Van Dyke?
That's true, that's true. Okay,
Dick,
back to the
Dick Van
plot,
Dyke
because
can
we're
do
not
nothing
even
wrong.
halfway through.
Yes.
So,
It's a long
so,
fucking plot.
I mean, I haven't even really started, but, so Elliot is making a mess in the town, but because he's invisible, everyone in the town blames it on Pete, the kid. And so everyone gets mad at Pete, and then he kind of gets run out of town, and so he goes
I
to the
think he's like
beach.
bad luck.
Yeah, and he goes to the beach and like hides in a cave with Elliot, and this woman who lives in the lighthouse. She goes down. She sees Pete and goes down and is like, "Hey, like, you're alone, like, come up, I'll feed you, I'll get you clothes, like, let me take care of you. And so he kind of explains the situation. And oh, actually, before he gets ran out of town, um the lighthouse woman's dad, who's like a drunk person, he was in the
He's like a
tavern,
town
and he's
drunk, but
fucking,
also like was the lighthouse guy.
yeah, his name is Lampy. And he's a drunk, and he was like wasted, and he found Pete and Elliot when Elliot was uninvisible. He saw the dragon. And so Lampy goes out and freaks out in front of the town, being like, "There's a dragon! There's a dragon! There's a dragon!"
That was
And
a
everyone's like,
fire
"You're a fucking
song.
drunk person."
I was
Absolutely.
shocked that that song was in a kids movie. Like they're really talking about how he's a drunk guy in a kids movie, and like the way they were treating the woman was kind of weird. It
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
that's old kids movies for you. But it was like that could never be made today in a kids movie. People would freak the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he's going around town being like, "There's a dragon." And everyone's like, "Yeah, you're a fucking drunk dude. Go home." And so Lampy goes home, and he like goes to sleep. And so the woman, what was her name? Her name was Nora. Nora takes care of Pete. And the next day, Lampy finds Pete like in his lighthouse, and he's like, "You're the guy with the dragon. You're the guy with the dragon."
She's like, "What the
And
fuck? The
so
dragon kid's here."
that's kind of like that one plot. And so while kind of that's happening, like Pete goes to school and like gets in trouble at school and blah 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 blah.
It was
And
very
then
like Tom Sawyer, like Huckleberry
yeah,
Finn, like people take him in and they send him to school, and you're like, oh, he's adjusting to life with a family. Like this is the end of the movie, and that was only like the first half of the movie, and then like the
yeah.
real plot kicks in.
And so while he's like living his like new family life, this doctor and assistant come into town, and they're like a scam there's like one of those scam doctors that sell potions of nothing. It's just like,
They
I think
reminded me
like,
of the Music Man. Their song, in the Music Man when he like gets to the town and he's like selling his scams and he sings a little
yeah,
song about
yeah,
it. The same
yeah,
shit. It was, oh my god, the old musical vibe this movie had was phenomenal. I love old musicals.
yeah. And so he's just a scammer who sells like potions and bottles of nothing, and then sells them as cures, as like fake cures to other people. And he has all of his songs are so good. Like, I love all of his songs, they go so hard. And so he's like singing about his ailments and whatever, and his assistant goes and dresses up as like random townspeople and goes up on stage and is like, help me with this problem. And then he drinks the fake potion and like magically gets cured, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it is real." Because like he was in that town previously, and then everyone found out he was a hoax and got ran out of town. And then he came back, and then people were stupid again, and we're like,
They
"Oh
were
my god,
like,
his stuff
first they were
does
like, "Fuck
work."
you. We know you're a fraud." And then there's some really obviously fake things happen, and they're like, "Oh, never mind." I like how obviously fake it was. It was like a kid could understand it, which was the point because it's a kids movie.
Yeah,
But it was fun to watch.
it's like that little girl was mad at the assistant or whatever, was like making faces. She's like, "This is fucking fake." But also, when they came into town, they even said something about this. They were like racing into town because their wagon had a sail on it, and so they didn't have brakes or anything. And the townspeople like put up a net so they could be caught in the net. And then when they got out of the net, everyone was just like staring at them. Like it was actually kind of scary because they were all standing like 6 feet apart from each other and just staring at the doctor. And they were all so mad. And he's like, "Hey guys, I'm here to sell you stuff." And they're like, "Get the fuck out of here." But he mentions that he got ran out of the other town and had to sell his horses to like cover up like a malpractice suit, like a lawsuit. And
Hmm.
that's why he couldn't have horses, and so he came back to this town to get money to buy horses again. And he convinces the people that his shit works, and then I forget, dude. The assistant is high key my favorite character. I love him so much. His acting is so good, and
I loved him. A lot of the acting in this movie was bad. Like, not with the main characters as much, but like, it was just over the top kid movie acting.
I loved it. I loved all of it. I loved it. All of it. I So the doctor and his assistant find out through Lampy being drunk that there's a dragon in town. And this dragon is cursing the town. Not really, but he's scaring all the fish away. He's like ruining things. And so the doctor goes to the townspeople and is like, hey, I hear this dragon is like cursing you guys. If you help me capture this dragon, I'll get rid of it for you. And so the townspeople get in, and so they try and plan to capture the dragon. Um, what was I gonna say before that? There was something I forgot about the plot, but it'll come back to me maybe. Um, and so Pete, his abusive family ended up coming into town and being like, "Hey, have you seen this little boy?" And they're like, "Oh, the guy with the dragon." And they're like, "Yes." And so they join the doctor in teaming up. And so the doctor promises to give them Pete, and they promise to give him the dragon with the townspeople. And so they
And
all
they think he's full of shit. They're like not full of shit, but they think he's like stupid. They're like, "You're gonna help us, and you just want us to give you the imaginary dragon in return? Okay."
Yeah, and so the doctor wants the dragon so they can sell parts of the dragon to the people for like more and more money. And oh, everyone thinks the dragon isn't real, but for some reason the doctor does. Even him, he was like, I don't believe this dragon's real. But the assistant did because Lampy. Oh my god, my favorite part of the movie was when the assistant and Lampy went into the cave to like show the assistant that the dragon was real, and they were like in the cave, and Lampy was like, "This is the most terrifying thing you've ever seen. It could rip you limb from limb." And Elliot is like in the cave, just like terrified because he doesn't know that Lampy's talking about him, and so he's like, "This creature's gonna come after me," and so he hides behind the assistant, and Elliot like grabs the shoulder of the assistant, and then the assistant's like, "Yeah, hold on tight, buddy. Like it's around here anywhere." And
This
then
movie was so funny. This movie was incredible.
yes, and then the assistant's like, "Oh my god, he's on me, he's on me." And then his acting is so fucking funny. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And he was like, "He's on me, he's on me." And then they got really scared, and then they fed Elliot alcohol. They like was like, "Give him a drink." And so they gave him alcohol, but then alcohol's flammable, so Elliot like burped or something, and then he like blew fire out of his mouth, and they were terrified of it, so they ran away. Um, and so when the doctor was planning to, so the doctor went to the lighthouse and was like, "Pete, your Elliot's like rampaging through the town. You gotta like come and collect him, whatever, whatever." And Pete's like, "Oh my god!" And so Pete goes to this barn and gets kidnapped by his abusive family. And then the doctor's assistant, he was forced to go get Elliot because Elliot like kind of knew the doctor's assistant and was and liked him a little bit. But the way the doctor was like asking the the assistant to go get Elliot, it was the funniest thing ever because he's like, "Wow, we gotta get a distraction to go get Elliot," and the assistant's like, "Well, who's gonna do that?" And then the doctor kind of just like looks at the assistant and he's like, "No, no, he's the scariest thing I've ever seen." And he's like, "He likes you," and he's like, "No, he's terrifying." And he's like freaking out, and it's so funny. And then he eventually goes to get to Elliot because he's like, "Pete's in danger, blah blah blah." And then they kidnap Elliot and Pete, and then Elliot escapes and saves Pete, and then they kind of live happily ever after. But there's also this other subplot where Nora, the lighthouse lady, her like boyfriend or whatever is a sailor, and so he was lost at sea. And while Pete was like living his little happy life, he asked Elliot to go find the sailor for Nora. And so at the end of the movie, the sailor comes back and he's like, "The weirdest thing happened. I crash landed and I was the only survivor, and I was in the hospital, and I all my memories were lost, and then I fell out of bed and all my memories came back, and here I am." And so then they live as a big beautiful family. And then at the end, um Elliot's like, I have to go now, Pete. And Pete's like, what? When are you coming back? And then Elliot's like, never. And he's like, never. And then he starts crying. And then he's like, I gotta go help other kids that are in danger and who needs help and are sad. And he's like, I wish you luck. I'll remember you and I'll tell your story and blah 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 blah. And then it's so sad that he just never gets to see Pete again. It's so sad.
I like the how it was like a parallel between like is the dragon real or fake, and like should the woman believe that Paul is coming back, or if he's dead, like do you have faith that the dragon's real, do you have faith that Paul is coming back? Those were like
Yeah, cause
parallel story arcs.
Nora didn't even believe Elliot was real.
At first I couldn't
Truly,
tell if she genuinely believed it or if she was humoring him, and then eventually it was like, oh, she's totally just humoring him, but she was really nice about it.
she didn't truly believe Elliot was real until the very end of the movie when she saw him light the lighthouse. Like, not even until all the way at the end, which is crazy, I think. Because, like, her dad was like, he's real, and all the townspeople are like, he's real. The dad's just like, the dragon's fucking real. And then she's like, guys, you guys are fucking hallucinating. I think I'm the only sane person. Which, surprisingly, she's the only sane person yet lives in a lighthouse, which is one of the most insane jobs that you could have. And she finally sees Ellie in person, is like, oh my god. Doesn't she, like, get him to light the lighthouse by, like, giving him a kiss or something? She's like, you can do it,
That
Ellie.
was
And then, like,
weird.
gives him a kiss.
That
And then he gets all, like, hot and, like...
he gets
like,
all hot. It was
yeah, he gets all, like, hot and flirty, and then he's like, okay, and then lights the lighthouse.
like they went through with the kiss. It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. But hey, that's a 1977 kids movie for you. Some things I just want to mention is the Pete's family, his abusive family, the sons, they reminded me of the two guys from Pirates of the Caribbean, the two pirate guys, because one of them kind of looked like the skinny one, or they acted like the guys from Home Alone, like the two robbers.
They did act like the guys, and they kind of looked like them too.
Yeah, and I was like, this is crazy. When did Home Alone come out? The 90s?
Yes.
I thought it was really interesting that when he entered the town and met the school teacher, the kids were like skipping through town, and it was really weird. They did like 3 steps in the skip, and then like 3 steps in a skip.
That was weird.
And the teacher was
weird. She was like,
too.
march, and they would skip when she said march, and I was like, what's happening here?
And she did it too. It was really weird.
But I thought he was gonna go back to his family at the beginning. Like, I thought we were gonna see more of the family, but then they didn't find him, and he just ran away to a new town. But then they came back, and it just, I wasn't expecting the plot line with the family to go that way when I started the movie.
How did you think this movie was gonna go?
I thought it was gonna be a lot more like Matilda, I guess.
Okay.
Like, he like lives with the abusive family, but like maybe he starts like going to school and like he gets into shenanigans with his dragon, and like there's like a nice person who wants to adopt him, but he has like a hard time trusting that someone can be nice to him, and there's like magical dragon shenanigans ensue, and no one believes that there's the dragon, but there is, and then he has a happily ever after with his dragon and the nice person. I thought it was gonna be a Matilda movie.
Okay, I could see that.
But there were so many plot lines that I didn't expect. Like, the movie was going, and then all of a sudden this fucking doctor appears, and the movie's going, and then all of a sudden Paul's lost out sea, and the movie's going, and then the family comes back and wants him, and then they're trying to, like, capture the dragon, and then they capture the kid, and then the boat's gonna hit the rocks, and, like, there was so much that the first half of the movie is, like, really slow, and then all of a sudden it's, like, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. When I was a kid, I was really confused on what gender Pete was. Like I just like never like I thought it at first I thought he was a girl because of his hair. His hair is like a bob, like a long bob. It's like shoulder length hair. And so I was like, this is a girl. And then it never occurred to me that like Pete is a boy's name. And so I was like, oh, he's a boy, but he talks like a girl because his voice is higher because he's a fucking kid. And so I was always like conflicted on what gender this kid was. And I think that's why I'm queer today. Because I'm like,
I had
this is
that
just
problem
a kid.
with, you know, the person in The Incredibles who makes the costumes.
Edna? Yes.
What
I love
gender?
her. That's a
That's
woman.
a woman, right? My entire life thought Edna was a gay man, and that is because Edna, I believe, is voiced by a gay man.
That's the best thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I've never heard of anyone say that.
Like, even before I knew like gay people existed, like when I was a kid, I just thought this was like I still thought Edna was a man, and Edna's voiced by a man, so like I see why I thought that.
Do you want to know who voices him?
What?
Do you want to know who voices him?
Who?
The guy who directed the movie.
Oh my god. Well,
he also directed Incredibles 2 and Iron Giant and Ratatouille and
listen,
all the...
Incredibles 2 is the best movie when you're high. I will say this every time it gets brought up. When you're high, you're like, holy shit, this movie's insane. It's so good.
It's a good movie.
Oh my god. I was like losing my mind. I was losing my mind.
Another thing I wanted to say about this movie is that I think that if this movie was remade today exactly how it was, I think James Franco would shred the role of the Doctor.
Yes. I stand by that.
he looks exactly like the guy who plays the Doctor.
Cast? Can we make a fan cast if we made this movie today?
Yes. So James Franco's playing the Doctor. I think, yeah, I got nothing. Oh, who's that? I think, no, never mind.
I got something.
What?
I'm just double checking on this name. Wallace Shawn should play the White House, the Lampy. White House? Lighthouse. Lampy. Wallace Shawn should play Lampy. You'll recognize him when you see him.
Oh my god, yes! That's who I was thinking of.
Perfect! He's a voice actor and a real not real actor, that's the wrong word, a live action actor.
I think actually he should play the Doctor's assistant. He would fit that role better.
That's true. Have you ever seen the movie Jack and the Beanstalk: A Tale with a Twist?
Maybe.
This movie reminded me a lot of that as well, and he plays a couple characters. He plays like this, like, kind of magic guy who appears as multiple different roles throughout the movie, and he's like a guiding mentor character, and he's really great in that movie. He's also in The Incredibles. Wow, everything connects.
Yes. Who should play the kid? I don't really know any kid actors.
I'm trying to think of any kid actors that I know.
Every kid actor I know is now like 15 to 22.
I'm looking.
I think Pedro Pascal should play Paul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He just like shows up as a cameo and he's like, "Hey, I'm here," and everyone's like, "It's Paul! It's Pedro!" And it's like, "Oh, he's here for like a minute." So we have James Franco, the funny guy, who plays like a good motherly figure.
Okay, this isn't someone like super well known, but in the new Percy Jackson show, the woman who plays Sally Jackson.
Okay, I see that.
You watched the show?
Like a year ago.
Yeah, she's kind of young. But she is like a very motherly vibe to her, I feel like. And it fits the husband lost at sea thing.
What about Elizabeth Olsen?
That would be good.
But I feel like she just has too much plastic in her face.
What about Jennifer Garner?
Okay.
Or uh no. I was thinking Julia Roberts, but no. Maybe. No. Her
What
face is
about
like too angular.
what's her name? Um, 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 um,
Like
what's
I
her
feel like
name?
I feel like Jennifer Garner is right because she's like in her 50s but very pretty, and that was like what they were going for, is like all the guys are attracted to her, but she was still like,
She wasn't old. She was supposed to be in her like late 20s, early 30s.
that's crazy. I thought she was like 40.
No,
Cuz Paul also looked like 40.
he was probably supposed to be mid 30s. What's her name from the Princess Diaries?
Oh,
What's her fucking name?
Anne Hathaway?
Yes. Wait, is that who I'm thinking of?
She's 42. Wow.
But she like looks
You know
kind of
what?
like her.
This would be right for the casting. That's it. That's the one.
I should have been writing these down.
Who did we assign as the doctor?
James Franco.
Right.
Okay, so we just need someone for Lampy and Pete. Lampy. I'm like, that spider guy from Monsters Inc. The CEO
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
Wanna cast
That
him?
guy. No.
That's who you want to cast?
He's too mean. Um. Um. Who's like a funny old guy? Funny old actors.
Which is why I went with Wallace.
Cause he fits the other guy better.
I know. I don't.
What about? Half these people are dead.
I'm looking at child stars from the 2020s, and it's showing me people who are like adults now. I don't think they realize that children age. Okay, maybe this guy. Even he's 16 now. Jesus.
I guess they just aren't registered yet.
I was looking at the kid who played Georgie in It, and he's 16 now.
Yeah, that came out like a long time ago. Okay, I hate to say it. Hate to say it, really do. But I think Zach Galifianakis would play a good Lampy.
Who?
Zach Galifianakis?
Hold up.
Look up like The
Yeah.
Hangover. Oh, he looks weird right now. There's no way. He's skinny now? Rip. He can't play Lampy. No, I'm taking it back. He can't play Lampy.
Okay. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out here. Are you ready?
No.
Danny DeVito?
Okay, I was thinking that first, but I just don't think. I feel like he's like an offensive comedic actor, and he just doesn't fit the vibe of the movie.
I think he could do it.
He's the right look, but he just doesn't like. I feel like he's just like not. He's just like not it, you know. Like I want to say Steve Carell. I feel like would fit the personality, but he doesn't fit the look. Billy Crystal?
Ooh.
I think he would look.
You know what? Let's
Actually,
do
yeah.
it. That's right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's it right there. Love
That's
Billy Crystal.
exactly correct, actually. Like 100% correct.
How tall is this man?
That's-
5'7"? Perfect.
Is perfect.
He was in a Western? We gotta watch this.
He's
So it's
perfect.
the main
Oh my
character
god.
in a western. Okay, we just need a kid. Give me
Every kid is too old, and it's like there's no current kids
I think we leave the role open and
to
let
discover
the
a child
world
actor.
decide.
But we've cast the rest of the movie.
Yeah, so let's go over it. So we have Pete left open. You guys decide who plays Pete. Give us child actors who you think would play Pete. Between the ages of like 7
Something.
and 10.
Yeah, something between
or
something
11.
between like 8 and 12.
Yeah. For Nora, we have Anne Hathaway. We have Pedro Pascal as Paul, the sailor. We have Billy Crystal as Lampy, Nora's dad. We have Wallace Shawn, whatever his name is, as the doctor's assistant. We have James Franco as the doctor. Those are all like the main roles. We're not gonna do his abusive family because that's too much. But it would totally the abusive mom would totally be that one lady, that one British lady who played the herbology teacher in Harry Potter.
Oh, her? Yeah. Yeah.
Miriam Margolyes. Miriam. Yes, she would do it so good. She's gay. She's gay.
Can the abusive dad be Michael Keaton?
Yes.
Who would play the older brothers? They felt so old. Like, how old were they supposed to be? Because they felt so old.
They're probably in their 20s.
All the actors that age I'm thinking of are like twinkie white boys. That's not the right vibe.
Perfect. Throw him in the mud.
Cast Timothée Chalamet as the brother.
Ew, it'd be like playing Wonka all over again. He just isn't right for that.
Okay.
Put
Zac Efron.
Jeremy Allen White. He's got the right vibe.
Jeremy Allen White and Zac Efron.
Oh, we need Rat Boys. Okay, so who's that guy who's dating Dua Lipa from you know what? We'll just take the guys from Challengers.
Yeah, perfect.
The Challenger duo. Put them in there. They're the weirdo brothers.
What about Miles Teller?
He's too hot. We need like kind of Rat Boys.
But he can look ratty if you just dress him up right.
No, like you know how people look like rat
Daniel
mouse?
Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe.
I fear he's too short, but actually he could slay it.
He would crush it, and he would love it. He would love to do that so much.
He would. Okay, we'll do Daniel Radcliffe and the rat guy from Challengers, the dark-haired one.
Challengers cast. Josh O'Connor.
Is that the rat boy?
Yeah. Josh O'Connor and Daniel Radcliffe are gonna be the brothers.
Yeah, okay, so that's our fan cast. For all the main characters.
Put them up on the screen. Everyone applaud our hard work.
Yay! Oh, okay. So the last thing I just want to talk about is the 2016 version. So the 2016 version of Pete's Dragon didn't do great. It was okay. It was kind of boring, but I feel like you're gonna understand why it is the way it is when I tell you who directed it. So it's directed by David Lowery, who also did the Green Knight movie. Do you see the similar vibes?
Oh my god.
Between the movies? Like, I feel like it's like a common theme with his movies that he's kind of just like, it's like missing something big. It's like missing the soul of the movie. Because when we talked about the Green Knight, which we have done in a previous episode, we were like, this movie could have been so much more. Like, it's kind of just like missing like a good chunk, like the whole soul of the story.
But it was pretty.
Yeah, it was pretty and it was cool. And I liked the visuals, but it was just
Which is exactly the same as this movie. It looks cool and it's pretty, but it's missing something.
Yeah, it's like missing the soul and like the heart of the movie, of the story. It's like missing the good parts of the story. And so I think that's just like a repeating problem with this guy. He makes good, pretty movies, but it's missing soul. He also wrote it with a guy. So he wrote and directed the movie, the 2016 version, which makes a lot of sense.
I wanna watch it now to compare. It was very different. It wasn't like magical or like musical. It was it was just a different story with the same concept, really. Which is actually, I do want to say that I would prefer when people make live action remakes that they do that, because I think it's pointless to make a live action remake that's copy and paste of the original movie. Like, there's no point in doing it. And but people get mad if you change anything. So really, there's no point in making live action remakes at all, because people will get mad if you change it, and if you don't change it, I think there's no point. But I like the idea of keeping the same concept and telling a different story if you're gonna make a live action remake.
I do like that, but I feel like they should have made this into like a actual live action like musical or like
I think
a
this would go
play.
so hard if they made it into a TV show,
I would
like
go
for
see this in
kids.
person if they made it into a Broadway musical. That's the only way you could get me to see a Broadway musical if it's Pete's Dragon. So someone get on that. Also, I want you to look up a picture of David Lowery and tell me that he's not the scariest person you've ever seen.
I think Hugh Jackman would be good in this movie. I don't know where. It just feels right. He can
He
sing,
could
and
also play the Doctor if James Franco is too problematic for people. I know he's a
Hugh
problematic
Jackman
man.
would do well as the Doctor, and I also think he would enjoy it.
He would enjoy it. He would love it.
That's our understudy.
That's our understudy if James Franco doesn't want to do a musical. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say about this movie.
What was your favorite song?
Oh, I was gonna ask you that. I think it was any of the Doctor songs, but probably the one where he talks about the money song, where he talks about like
Oh, that
selling
one
the
was
dragon
good.
parts. Yeah.
Let me look up all the songs. It's hard for me to remember. It was all a blur.
It's all a blur, yet it was so long. I think we're gonna give all the movies this month 5 out of 5 stars. At least I am.
I thought the one I thought it was cute when the woman and Pete sang the song, were describing the dragon to each other.
Oh, when he like got to the lighthouse for the first night, and
Yeah,
he was
but
like putting
I
him to
think my
bed.
favorite is when the drunk guy saw the dragon.
Yes, in the tavern.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
one was a really good song, even if it was shocking for a kids movie.
It's a great song. I also like the one in the very beginning.
That one was also good, and it really set the tone for the movie. Even though
They're all
it was the cheesiest sounding one, I think.
they're all so good.
But it
All the
was
songs
really
are so
unique and
good.
fun.
All the songs are so good. I loved all of them. Who was your favorite character?
Ooh, the woman, was her name Nora?
Nora.
Nora was my favorite. She was very kind, and I like that.
I also liked how she was sassy to the school teacher.
That was really fun.
My favorite character was the doctor's assistant.
Yeah.
He was great. I loved his acting. I loved his character. He was really funny. I am going to rate this movie 5 out of 5 stars because last time I watched this movie was probably 10 years ago, and it still brought me just as much joy as I watched it when I was a kid.
I would have liked it more if I grew up watching it. Like, movies you grew up loving as a kid, and then when you watch them as an adult, it still has that lovable vibe to it. And since I didn't, it was very average for me. It was long. Some of the acting wasn't good, but at the same time, it was a really good kids movie. Like, I loved a lot of parts of it. So I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars.
3.5. Not even
Sorry.
3.8 or 4 or 4.2 or 4.5 or 4.8 or 4.5 or 5. 5
I'll
stars.
give it a.
5
How
stars.
about
I heard
how about
5
a 3
stars.
how about a 3.9?
3.95.
Yes.
So
3.95.
4 stars. So I hear 4 stars.
Four
So
stars.
4 stars, 5 stars. That's 9 stars in total out of 10. I think that's a
9
pretty
out of
good
10.
score. And that's like closer, and we should just round up to a 10 out of 10. So 10 out of 10 for this movie. Pete's Dragon came out in 1997, not the 2016 version. That one is it's missing heart. Sorry, David. Your movie's miss heart.
I really want to watch it just to compare.
You can.
I
It's
think
free
I'm
will.
going to.
It's free will. Next week we're gonna be watching one of your movies, and then one of mine. I'm so excited to show you Pippi Longstocking because I don't think you've ever heard of this person.
I've heard of it. I've just never seen it.
Oh, it's so good. I saw a clip of it the other day, and I was like, I'm so excited to watch this movie again. It's gonna bring me so much joy. I think it's also a musical.
Let me check the calendar.
I had the book of Pippi Longstocking, and then I had the movie that my nanny also showed me. And honestly, my nanny. What?
Sorry, you can go.
No.
I knew one of my two movies was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but I assumed my other movie was going to be either Ponyo or Astro Boy, but it's Little Manhattan, which I just watched on the plane to the Netherlands for the first time in like 10 years, and I loved it so much. It's
I've never heard of it.
Josh Hutcherson
Oh, I'm gonna love it.
when he's like 9,
Yeah, I'm gonna love
11.
it.
It's great. He rides around on a little scooter, and he falls in love with a ginger.
Oh, I'm gonna love it. Is it a musical?
No,
Thank God.
this is the only musical you like.
And Pippi Longstocking. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of Telly Talk. Thank you for listening to me talk about one of my favorite childhood movies. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it right now. I know it's an old movie and kids nowadays are scared of anything that came out before 1998, but trust me when I tell you this movie is fucking fantastic. I love it. You can find it on Disney Plus. It's not in a fucking vault somewhere. You don't watch the new one, watch the original one. It's so good. You're gonna love it. Okay, it's a fucking animated dragon. How could you not love it? And he's so cute.
He's so cute.
He's so cute.
If we both say it at the same time, you know it's true. He's like a puppy. I love
He's literally
when
a
he's
puppy.
like trying to be scary and it works and people are scared of him, but as a viewer, you know he's just like bluffing, like he's just being funny. And it's like it's made so a kid could understand that, and it's so well done.
And even when he is scary, he doesn't even look scary. He's just like a funny scary, you know? You're like, how could an old man be scared of this, you know?
Right? Bye.
Bye.